History of the USA. You think you know the story of the United States? You've heard about George Washington, the promise of the American dream, and the idea that all people are created equal. But what if I told you that the true history of America is not a simple fairy tale? What if this great nation was born not only from a belief in freedom, but also from the deepest and most painful conflicts? For hundreds of years, people have risked everything to reach the shores of this continent. They sought gold, they sought faith, and they sought a new beginning. But this journey was full of challenges. The fight against a mighty empire, the tragic war between brothers, the long, difficult struggle for true equality for all people. How did a divided nation, built on both high ideals and terrible contradictions like slavery, manage to survive, expand, and become the superpower that shaped the modern world? The answer is an epic journey that spans over 400 years. In this video, we will unlock this incredible story, step by step, using clear and simple English. You will understand not just the dates and names, but the deep, defining moments that created the America we see today. You will learn the history, and you will dramatically improve your English skills at the same time. It's time to find out. Let's begin. Part 1 Introduction. Have you ever wondered how a small group of colonies on the edge of a continent grew to become one of the most powerful and influential nations on Earth? It's a story of bravery, conflict, and an unbreakable belief in the idea of freedom. For nearly 400 years, the United States of America has been a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and dreams. It is a nation defined by its challenges and its changes. Today, we are going to explore the incredible history of the USA, from the first settlers to the modern era. Get ready for an epic journey. Part 2. The early days, colonies and conflict. Our story begins long before the name United States existed. In the 17th century, people from Europe, mostly England, began to cross the vast Atlantic Ocean. Why? For many reasons. Some sought religious freedom, others hoped to find wealth and a new life. The first permanent English settlement was Jamestown, Virginia, established in 1607. Life was incredibly hard. Settlers faced cold winters, disease, and conflict with the Native American tribes whose land they were settling on. The colonies grew. Places like Massachusetts, New York, and Pennsylvania developed different ways of life, but all of them were ruled by one distant power, Great Britain. As the colonies became richer and more independent, the British King and Parliament started to impose heavy taxes. Taxes on tea, paper, and other essential goods. The colonists felt this was unfair. They had no representatives in the British Parliament. Their famous cry was, "No taxation without representation." Part 3. A new nation is born. The tension became too much. The conflict began in 1775. This was the start of the American Revolutionary War. It was a small, untrained army of colonists fighting against one of the world's greatest military powers. But they had great leaders, like George Washington. The most important moment came on July 4th, 1776. The colonies officially declared their separation from Britain by signing the Declaration of Independence. This document, written mostly by Thomas Jefferson, stated that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. After many years of fighting, the colonies won their freedom. In 1783, the United States was officially recognized as an independent nation. A few years later, in 1787, the U.S. Constitution was written. This document established the rules for the new government, dividing power into three parts: the President, the Congress, and the Supreme Court. George Washington became the first president. A new experiment in democracy had begun.
Part 4. Expansion and Division. The young nation quickly started to grow. Americans believed in manifest destiny, the idea that they were meant to spread across the entire continent, from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson bought a massive piece of land from France called the Louisiana Purchase. This instantly doubled the size of the USA. Settlers began to move westward in search of new lands and opportunities. However, the rapid expansion also brought a terrible problem to a head: slavery. In the southern states, large farms, especially cotton plantations, depended on the labor of enslaved people brought from Africa. The northern states, on the other hand, slowly ended slavery. This difference in values, culture, and economy created a deep split. The two sides could not agree. In 1861, the southern states broke away to form the Confederate States of America. The Civil War had begun. This war, led on the north side by President Abraham Lincoln, was the deadliest in American history. Lincoln fought to preserve the Union and, eventually, to end slavery. The North won in 1865, and slavery was finally abolished across the entire country. Part 5. Industrialization and the World Stage. After the Civil War, the USA entered a period known as the Industrial Revolution. New technologies, steel, oil, railroads, electricity, transformed the country. Factories grew, and the cities expanded rapidly. Millions of immigrants arrived from Europe and Asia, searching for the American dream. The Statue of Liberty, given by France, became a symbol of welcome and hope. Did you know, between 1870 and 1920, the United States became the world's leading industrial power? Great inventors like Thomas Edison, light bulb, and Henry Ford, assembly line for cars, changed daily life forever. In the 20th century, the USA was forced to step onto the world stage. After trying to remain isolated, the country played a key role in winning both World War I and World War II. The end of the Second War in 1945 established the United States as a global superpower. Part 6. Civil Rights and Modern America. The post-war years were a time of great change at home. The civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s fought for equal rights for African Americans, led by figures like Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. It was a struggle for the nation to finally live up to the promise made in 1776 that all men are created equal. The second half of the 20th century was marked by the Cold War with the Soviet Union, the race to space, and the rise of technology. The USA put the first men on the moon in 1969. Today, the United States remains a highly diverse, technologically advanced, and complex country. It continues to face challenges, but its history shows a pattern of constant growth, debate, and reinvention. From a distant dream of freedom to a global powerhouse, the history of the USA is truly an epic journey. What do you find most interesting about American history? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to English Parchment for more stories.